Your internet connection is unstable.
It's like the rest of my
I was
house.
just gonna say, include me too.
You are live.
Right. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Recreation Committee meeting for August 28th, 2020 at 7:08 p.m. This meeting is being streamed live on TC TV YouTube and TC TV and being recorded. It is open for public comment. They will be monitored via YouTube chat. The public is welcome to comment. Please list your name and your address as it is public record, and we'll respond to comments as they come in. There's about a 10-second delay, so bear with us. We'll get to your comments as they come up, and we'll try to answer them the best we can. It looks like we have a full quorum tonight. We do have Tara on with us. She is the soccer coordinator for youth soccer. And we will start with the agenda. It is posted on the screen. First order of business is to vote in committee roles: chairperson, vice chairperson, treasurer, secretary. So we'll start with chair.
Well, isn't that you?
You have to, I can't vote for myself, so we have to, let's take a motion for chair.
Okay.
I'm nominating Scott.
I nominate Scott Dell.
All right,
I second it.
And third,
all right. Okay, vice chairman.
Chris or Dan?
Phil, where are you?
I make a motion to nominate Dan as vice chairman of the Recreation Committee.
Okay, second.
Any other discussion on that?
Did he accept?
He's smiling, so that's a good sign. He hasn't jumped off the screen.
I thought about jumping off the screen.
That's
Look, you don't have to do anything that wants to. We can give it to Chris.
Yep.
Jason.
That's what happens when you don't show up to a meeting. You get nominated.
Yeah, I nominate Chris Lottig.
I nominate Jason Hunt.
Now we're making it complicated.
let's not do that.
Well, let me ask this question.
Yeah.
I honestly had in my head, I was figuring that Jason was going to take that and jump all over it. But do we have a clue if it's something he wants to do?
I
Do we
haven't even asked them. Yeah.
Do we have to fill it? Do we have to fill that spot tonight?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well,
Well, who wants to be the treasurer?
Well, we got to get through vice chair first. I think.
Oh,
Why?
I texted Jason. I was like, we're on right
Why?
now. So.
Just go down the line and fill it in with unwilling people. Isn't that right, Dan?
yeah. It's starting to look that way.
Sure.
Oh,
Jason said sure.
He said sure.
He said
You
sure.
said sure? All right.
Yep.
All right. I vote
Yeah, we
Jason
vote.
Hunt.
Second.
Okay.
All right. So we have a first for Jason from Dan, who jumped off the vice chair vote. So one from Dan. What's the second for Jason?
I'll give it.
All right. Jason wins.
Wait,
oh boy.
Save that text, please.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if he's willing to do it, that's fine. All right, so let's move on to treasurer. Even though it's been a pretty quiet year.
What happened to me?
I-
Oh,
I-
wait.
I nominate Jessica Sutton.
For treasurer?
Yeah,
I
That's
second
right.
that.
that's her job, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so, all right. So, what is David and Chris going to get out of this scot-free?
Now we need a secretary.
I vote Joy.
I second it.
I third it.
All right. Who's gonna be responsible to be calling me at 6 o'clock to remind me of it?
Jess Sutton will be your personal secretary. Yep.
Hello.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
I can do your.
Okay. So we are officially realigned for the term ending June 2021.
Right there.
Go back to,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna
All
pull
right.
it back up.
Not too
Okay.
far.
So that has been complete on the new committee members. So chairman would be myself, Scott Dill. Vice chair would be Jason Hunt. Secretary Joy. Treasurer Jessica. Dan escapes
Okay.
again.
Dan escapes again.
I only had the hesitation because if I was going to do anything, it would be the vice chair. But
Mhm.
I wasn't. I was caught off guard.
That's okay. That's how we roll.
You had to know
Okay.
it was coming, Dan.
We
All
can
right, so
find
we'll
something for
We'll move on to the next.
Dan.
What was that?
I said, we'll have to find something for Chris and Dan.
Oh, we'll find something.
One of them can be publicity chairman.
Yes, yep.
And the
Yeah.
other
Director
one
for
could be-
soccer.
Legal counsel for the rec department.
We also need somebody to, how do I say it tactfully, because I don't have any tact.
And you're
But
all- you're
watch
all-
the rules on the games and make sure that our helpers, quote unquote, are giving the kids the right rules.
Well, that was on the budget for 2020 before COVID came and took the dance away from us. And we were gonna hire that full-time, well, not full-time, but that program director for the recreation department. They would actually work 17 hours a week for the recreation department. They would be an employee of the town. They would oversee all directors in youth sports. So they would be the go-to person. They would be the live person with all the directors to give them guidance and oversee the programs and so forth. So that
What
job
qualifications would
it didn't go out this year because of COVID. They pulled it back out of the budget because COVID stopped all activities. So for FY '22, that will go back in the budget. We will look to hire that person.
What qualifications does he have?
There's a list. It's online on the Templeton website. There are certain qualifications that we're looking for, and they will be reviewed, and then they will go through the interview process with the Community Services Director, Jackie Prime, myself, and the town administrator. So there is certain qualifications they have to go through.
Good.
So I think it's a right step for the rec department because, this person will be the live link for all the directors to go to. That's their person. They're in charge of fundraising. They're in charge of sponsors. They're in charge of supplies, inventory, everything that has to make these sports programs run. This person will be in charge of it. So
Will
they'll
he
do-
also be at all games?
If they can, yep, we that's part of the deal that they have to participate in all the sports. They have to oversee them to make sure everything's going smooth and so forth. So
Good.
it's a good role to fill because it's the eyes and ears that's down on the fields and making sure they have inventory and supplies and stuff that we just don't have time to do. So this person will be hired and they'll be reviewed every year, just like a review process. How many kids were in soccer? How many did we gain? How many did we lose? What'd you do for fundraising? How's the equipment? Are we up to date for safety standards? Everything. So they'll be held to certain KPIs, which is good.
Good. Okay.
All right, so let's go with the COVID update. I attended a Board of Health meeting on Monday to discuss youth sports and recreation. And the decision was made by the Board of Health and the town administrator to pretty much open back up as of September 18th under the MIAA guidelines and DESI guidelines put out by the state. Reason being is the MIAA has a lot more specialists and doctors and scientists and everything looking, a lot more resources to get the data that they need to figure out what's actually going to be safe for the fall sports. So we will follow the MIAA guidelines for any organized youth sports on our town properties. Carter Terenzini, the town administrator, will draft a letter to the schools stating what our town stance is, that they are to follow MIAA guidelines for all youth sports. And then they will, there has to be some discussion with scheduling because of September 18th, soccer can start, field hockey can start. So that has a lot of impact on our town fields because that's a lot of people. And we still have to stay with the state's 50 on a gatherings. We can't go over 50. So if you have a boys or girls soccer game and field hockey practice and a general public using Gilman Way, you're talking 150 to 200 people up there at a time. So the school has to be very vigilant to stagger the schedules, practices, and so forth, because it's still a public park at the end of the day, and the public will be up there using it. So we have to account for those people in the park. So we have to make sure we stay below the state guidelines of 50 per facility.
I thought Carter was gone. I thought Carter had resigned.
No, he's here with us till about, I think he's here 6 more weeks. And then
Okay.
Adam will take over.
Good. Okay.
So that's pretty much on COVID. I mean, Templeton has still, as I know, no new cases, which is great.
One more today.
Yeah. And then
Well, the telegram this morning had one more, 146, I believe it was, and then 144 for 4 weeks. Then it went to 105 or
Yeah.
145. Now it's 146. So
So
we're
this-
still getting.
It's still happening. I mean, there's a few red zones happening in the state that weren't red zones. So Templeton, thank God, is not one of those red zones because that pretty much shuts you down to do anything. So if just people just keep doing what they're doing, I think we're going to be okay.
I think so.
Anything else on COVID?
Had enough.
Yep, I hear you.
Enough of it.
It's done.
Yeah.
I'm
All
over it.
right. Soccer.
All right, so let's move on to fall soccer. As you know, the state has moved soccer from high risk to medium risk. So soccer can be played, but it's very different outlook on soccer. I mean, I know Gardner Recreation canceled months ago. Chris, you said Chair City is not having fall soccer.
Right.
Yeah.
So they canceled. A lot of towns have canceled around us for fall soccer, and we're very, very, very late in the season. I mean, you usually start in July having signups? Yeah. So we're very behind. So just the guidelines, and I will share those guidelines because they are kind of mind-boggling, but bear with me.
Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions, right?
Yeah, there's no slide tackles, there's no touching, it's,
No throw-ins, no corner
throw-ins.
kicks, no
Yep.
contact. I think they even want you to wear a mask if you're playing.
yeah,
can't-
mask when you line up to start, and then I think the mask can be removed as you're playing, but it has to be on, there's no timeouts, there's a 2 minutes between each half. So the rules are very, very tight. It's almost like I don't know, non-contact sport. That's what it's almost like that. Like you can't, if there's contact, it's a foul. You know what I mean? It's very strange how they worded it, but, and it just moved from high risk to medium risk. So it's still on that radar of, you know, a high risk sport. It's a high contact sport. So,
Well, that's why they got it to move to medium by changing the rules.
yeah,
Basically, like football, if they made it flag football, they might be able to lower the risk a little bit.
right. And then they still have flag football under high risk. So it's weird. We got to fix that.
Well, I guess that is a lot of contact too, but I'm just saying they changed the rules a lot where it's doesn't even look too much like soccer.
Right. I mean, I was reading them today, and it's like you said, it doesn't even look like soccer the way they. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, let me share this. Hold on one second. And this is from the MIAA, so it's definitely there. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
So this is on, if you go on the MIA website, you'll find this for soccer, but I'll scroll down to. So games, I mean, each bench must be set up at least 10 yards from midfield. So that's spreading them out. No cheerleaders, which we didn't have to worry about that. Timeout rule has been suspended. No timeouts will be allowed. All games will play in 4 equal quarters, 2-minute break between quarters, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Halftime will remain 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's the thing about the mass
Yeah.
equipment.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Balls must be wiped down. All players, coaches, referees, other game personnel must wear a face covering during play, except face covering during a point during a game when they are more than 10 feet from an opponent. So pretty much the kid's going to be running down the field and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm in 9 feet, put my mask on. You know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy. The kids are going to leave it on the whole game pretty much.
They're all gonna just stay 10 feet away from each
Where
other.
they go
so
running?
don't have to
Right.
put the masks on.
They're just going to kick the ball around the field and hope for a goal because.
Yeah,
it's-
because and usually they're all running in little clusters together. So especially the little kids.
Yeah, the little ones stay together. It's like amoebas. They all
You
just-
can't even get them 1 feet apart.
Right. Never mind. How are you going to get them 10 feet apart? I don't. So that's a dilemma. I mean, even high school soccer is going to be strange to watch because they're aggressive. They're very aggressive plays. I mean, I don't understand how they're going to run high school soccer at this level. I don't.
I watch there's some good videos on how they're going to do it. And basically you kind of go for the ball when someone has possession, you back off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's no supposed to be
So
like,
if you got- so long story. So if you at the high school level, if you've got a kid who's got good foot skills, he's basically going to score.
Right. Yep.
I mean, really the only defenseman is your goalie at that point.
And once he touches the ball, they're going to have to stop and sanitize it. So
wipe it down.
wipe it down. So it's crazy. I mean, they allowed it, but they allowed it pretty much to the point where it's unplayable. So they said, yeah, you can play soccer, but this is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? So these rules are a lot.
So for us over in Chair City, the travel, a lot of teams are struggling with this, right, and cancel their season. So what we decided to do is, or leaning towards is clinics. You know,
That's what I was thinking on our side.
you go out and have a clinic, you know, teach them different things, keep kids spaced and that kind of stuff. But there's no
Mhm.
scrimmages, no games, nothing,
Yeah.
just skills and drills, basically.
Because like Tara said, it's a great point. You know, these little ones, you can't keep them a foot apart. Never mind. Even the older levels, I mean, they cluster. They follow that ball around. There's no positions, not like Chair City where there's actual positions and they know their roles and it's more of an independent thing. But recreation soccer is just get out there and run. That's how it's always been, and that's how it always will be. I mean, it's really, so it makes it tough at the recreation level to follow these rules. I mean, how are you going to tell a 6-year-old hey, you can't go more than 10 feet, but keep your mask on while you're playing.
Right.
It's tough, and it's awful that we have to live like this right now, and I hope it changes, but these are the rules that are out there, and it's mind-boggling to think that how we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna have to change all the rules, Trevor.
I'm just checking something.
So I think if you,
clinics would be a great thing, because then you'd be teaching them something, and they would actually be learning something rather than trying to run each other down.
It just, your connection's really broken up. So I think we need to try to figure out what we should do to maybe salvage something out of this year. I don't know. I think games are, as we used to, are kind of out of the picture right now. I don't see us getting to a point where we're going to be like we were. You know, I mean, it's going to be a tough haul to get this straightened out. I think we have time to do clinics. I think we have time to do.
I think your clinic would be good, because you would be teaching them something, you know, rather than just mass chaos all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we can't have mass chaos.
Really.
That's the thing. It's gotta be a controlled.
but it's on the other hand, so I've had a bunch of kids come through and play soccer, right? Someone talking.
I don't know. That connection's really bad.
It's hard to get kids at that age to only do drills.
Right.
That's the other side of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, because I think it would be more the little kids who you could get to do skills and drills, and not the older kids.
I know. I think sometimes it's tough with the little kids. It gets kind of, unless we can set up a really good clinic that's really laid out and has a lot of different activities for them to do and is really structured. If we kind of just let it up to different coaches or whatever, I could see it turning into even worse mass chaos because kids are getting bored or something.
Right.
Yep.
My only thing I would throw in with that is that I feel like we're at the point where we got to get these kids on the field
Doing something. Yeah.
doing something. So I understand what Chris is saying, and of course I'm probably the least knowledgeable of anybody on here about soccer, but my opinion is that if it's something that they're bored with, well, they're probably going to be a whole lot more bored sitting at home doing nothing. So
Right.
I think, I don't know. I feel like,
I'm just saying that if we do it, then it's got to be
oh no, I get
planned
it.
out and skill. Yeah, you know.
Right. No, I get what, yeah. It can't be parents dropping off, 15 kids to one coach there. And
Yeah.
try and figure
No.
it out. I mean, it'd have to be in, groups, or if it's something you can, even if you had, multiple coaches there and you did it, like if you could do it twice a week, and maybe depending on how many kids too, and alternate, certain kids go one night and then each one of the coaches has a different, drill for them to do or whatever, so that they can
That's
do
hard.
one corner of the field and one at the, and keep them moving, but keep them separate.
Yep.
That's hard
Did they get rid of
too,
the
because
cohort
one-
requirement? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, once it starts to hit end of September, it starts getting dark.
Yeah.
So you can't
Yeah.
practice at night. You can't have
Right.
the drills at night.
Right. That's true too. I wasn't.
So I'm
even
thinking this would take place on a Saturday, right, in place of the
Right.
games. Because I
Yeah,
would also
yeah.
worry about Triple E now too, right? If we even be able to practice at night.
Right.
Another thing to worry about.
And the thing with the Saturdays, you could break it up with like early morning and a late morning session or whatever. If you can get, obviously it depends on what the coaches are willing to do too. I mean, you- however, obviously you don't want the same couple of coaches that are committing to having to be there for 10 hours or something, but
Mhm.
can't expect them to do that. If they want to, great. But, yeah, I don't know.
Is it something that we could work with a high school with as well for the boys and girls soccer team, to see if they would like to do something with the kids in town also?
That's what we used to do. We used to have a clinic at the beginning of the year, but then, they would help through the year, but we've never had to do this part of it. So I think that would be a great tool, especially for the coaches that are just willing to help, that don't really know soccer, to have a high school player guide them in skills and drills and so forth. And we have plenty of room up there. If we take a Saturday and take the day and break them into blocks, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's plenty of room up there for them between the softball field side and the soccer field side. There's more than enough room up there to spread people out safely and still maintain that number.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. We'd have to keep it very low key and just, there'd be no charge, obviously, this year to charge anybody, because there's really no season to charge them for. There'll be no uniforms and so forth, and nothing that we always have done. So we'll just put some kind of sign up out there and see what we get. I mean, I put a survey out on Facebook real quick, and the numbers came back pretty strong for yes. A lot of them were, they're just holding off on sports altogether, or I signed up for fall baseball because I didn't know soccer was going to go because I'm hearing it's canceled. So, baseball is the only thing that's really been surviving so far, which is great that they found a way to safely do it. So, but it's, soccer's tough because they want you to run and wear a face mask and not touch anybody. And where baseball, you're spread out anyway, except they did change something recently that the batter has to wear a mask when they're up to bat because it's the batter, the catcher, and the umpire all together. So it makes sense. But
And knock on wood, it again, but this, I mean, for the past couple of months, Ryan was still playing AAU basketball.
mhm,
Was not in Massachusetts, but
right.
and knock on wood, I mean, five tournaments between Connecticut and New Hampshire, and I didn't hear of any single person that there was any issues with COVID or anything. So
Yeah.
knock on wood, hopefully that continues, and again, we can get some kind of normal.
Right.
Normal.
Because the way the new schedules are going, it looks like, basketball's been pushed off to like January, February, then football is in it. They're pushing everything forward. You know what I mean? So it's really bizarre how it's coming together.
I almost like the idea when I heard that they were toying with the idea of making fall baseball season at the school and then having football season in the spring.
Yeah, they're going to flip them. Yep.
I had heard that they were toying with it, and I think that could actually work. I mean,
Is that something we could potentially look at with soccer too, and doing spring soccer?
That's what I was thinking too, because I think we really need to look at the spring season and in general, because we really just have softball in the spring. And I don't think it's fair to our youth in our community that we just offer one sport in the spring. We should do a spring soccer. We should do some sort of t-ball or something, you know what I mean? That we have ball fields all over the town that just need to be redone. And there's a lot of things that I think we're missing the boat on, springtime, the softball, the soccer, a spring basketball, because I think basketball may move to spring because, what they're saying now for this hybrid plan for the school is once they deep clean on Friday, the building's locked till Monday morning. No one goes in. So once they sanitize on Friday, the schools are locked because once they deep clean, they don't want anybody in there, which makes sense because they want to do it once and be done. So that may be an impact on travel basketball, rec basketball. Anybody that wants to rent a gym on a Saturday or Sunday, those days are going to be gone for a while, I think, until they figure it out. So that could impact rec basketball this winter. We'll have to look at, but we could be moving a lot of our recreational activities to the spring and early summer, where we have to be outside. And we could pull off basketball outside. We have all those extra hoops. We could just get that tennis court fixed at Gilman, and we'd have 3 courts right there to do rec basketball. But I think spring soccer would definitely be a win because that soccer field is open.
I was going to say you can start it in April, go through the beginning of June, or push it later so that you can even go into the beginning of the summer too. So
yeah. And I know people have asked, spring. Yeah, I've heard it. Is there soccer in the spring? Is there soccer in the spring? Because what happens in spring? You just have softball and baseball. That's the only 2 offerings you have, and I don't think we're doing justice to our kids in this town by not offering a little bit more when we can. We have the capabilities of doing it. We've never gone outside the box, and I think it's time for us to go outside the box. And the housing market in Templeton is exploding. There's new houses popping up in every crevice. So there's definitely people moving here, and I'm sure they're families. They're not just single people moving into these big houses. So I think we really need to take a hard look at spring, and hopefully by spring, COVID is on the backward slide and we're on a recreation growth again, because we really took a hit in 2020. And I think we're going to creep into 2021, still taking a little bit of a hit. But I think by spring, I think we can really pull something off. But this year, I think, I like the idea of some clinics just to get kids out there running and playing and enjoying the fields and getting some fresh air in the fall. What's the best time to be out, running around? And they're going to be cooped up in the house because they're going to be remote learning. They got to get these kids outside. They've got to get them outside. So
I agree.
I think we should make a motion to really table this and have some more deep discussion on what the plan will be to have put together some really solid, safe clinics starting, the end of September, and we'll run probably end of October we usually run till? Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long we can stretch it out.
Yeah, last year, I think we went to November 10th.
Yeah.
I think. And then it was so cold that we had to cancel the last game.
Yeah.
And then the year before that, it was a week later and it snowed. So I mean, we could even back it up to the first weekend in November. But you just run into the weather. Right.
I mean, it's just skills and drills. So if it ends early, it ends early. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We don't lose any games or anything.
If we plan it for like a 4-week, a 4-week thing.
Yep.
At least
we can run it right through the end, October only. Just run it through October, and that's it. End it on Halloween.
You could have it as a 4-week program where it's like week 1, it's U6, week 2, U8, week 3, U10, and then week 4, the older kids. You can do it like that too, because that would also break it up.
Yep. And it keeps the groupings down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we can, if we want to put together something like that, I mean, let's have to figure out how to do registrations and get that.
What is it usually for like total numbers with soccer? Is it like, are we talking like a couple hundred kids?
Last year, I think it was, what was last year's numbers?
I want to say it was just over 200 last year.
Yeah.
So even if you did, like you said, break it up, but maybe not do it week by week, but if you could, if you had 4 weeks on, say, a Saturday, you had 4 separate, whatever, 1 hour or 2 hour clinics each of those days, and broke it up to, the little kids at a certain time, and then move it up and do that for 4 weeks. I just think one clinic for an age group is probably, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd have the people going, yeah, I'm going to go, and then decide
They
they're not
just
going to
don't.
show up because it's only 1 week thing or something. Who knows?
Yep, definitely. And you can have the times that, like, to have the different blocks like we had for
Right.
the soccer games too.
Right.
So the way that we had it scheduled is there was 15 minutes in between the time that the game ended to the time that the new one started too. So that gives time for people to clear out on
Yep.
the fields also.
Yeah, we definitely got to have a wider window of clear out time because we have to make sure those people are gone. Like they'll linger and walk around. There'll be no concession stand, so they won't have anything to do. They'll just come and go because obviously concessions will not open this year. So
We have some backdoor candy bar sales or something.
that's it. Out of my trunk. That's about out.
But in between, obviously, you need enough time because you'd have to sanitize
Yep.
all the balls and everything. So you need that much. You need a, probably a minimum of a half an hour in between
hmm
times to clear people out and get people in and get stuff wiped down or whatever.
Yep. For soccer balls, we'd issue each child a soccer ball. They are responsible for bringing them and taking them home. We cannot, once we give these children equipment, they own it. They
Right.
we can't take it back. You know what I mean? Because we'd be sanitizing all week, trying to get ready for the next week. So
Right.
we'll give them brand new soccer balls and that's it. They're responsible for bringing them. If they don't have one, they can't participate because
So
we
do we
can't.
already have a bunch of soccer balls?
We do. We bought a bunch of brand new ones last year.
Because I was just going to bring up the question. I was going to say, is it worth at that point? I know you mentioned doing a free clinic, which is great, but I was going to say if that case, if it was, if we needed to do a $10 or a $20 fee or something
Mhm.
just to cover that stuff, but if we already
Right.
got them,
Yeah, we'll do an inventory, but we'll make that decision. But I think we have to go in the bunker and see what we have for a certain size. What size is it, Chris, for certain age groups? Size 4 ball, size 5? Do you know the sizes
Well,
that
it
go with?
depends on each
Yep.
group. I think we mostly use size 4.
That's, I think we bought a lot of
Yeah.
size 4.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
we'll have to
think
do
at
an
the end of last year, we gave away, I want to say we gave away a bunch of balls too.
Yep.
So,
So they want size 3 for 5 to 8 and size 4 for 8 to 11. And then size 5 is 12 plus.
Yep.
I think 3s and 4s.
Yeah, I know we have at least 4 cases of something in there that's not even open yet. So I think the numbers will be low anyway, because like you said, a lot of parents have already signed up for fall baseball because soccer was high risk. It was not going to happen, but all of a sudden that changed midstream. So I think we still have a shot at this. So I think we can pull something off.
How do you play cricket? They look like they're pretty far spaced apart. Maybe we should think, if we're going to think outside the box, let's think of something like that.
Definitely cricket. A lot of tennis too. All right, so I'll make a motion to come up with a plan. Tara can submit something to us of what she thinks she can do, and at our next meeting, because I'd like to roll it out. If we're going to roll it out October 1st, so she can submit something and we can kind of come up with something and meet in the middle of what we think we should do, and we can kind of go from there, I guess.
anybody want to be my co-director since I lost my crystal?
Heidi said
I-
Heidi raised her hand. She said she's going to help you.
Okay, good.
So you have a co-director. Done.
Yay.
Oh,
Thanks, Heidi.
she didn't even throw anything at you, Scott.
No, I got her tied to the chair. She can't throw anything at me.
Well, make sure you shut the camera off after the meeting.
That's it. All right, so let's do that. I'll make a motion to have Tara draw up a plan, and for our next meeting, we'll invite her and, put it on the table and see, what we can roll out for possibly October 1st skills and drills. And then no charge, because we have enough balls right now, and we'll have to look at that, but if we do have to charge, we'll have to charge $10 or $20, like you said, Dan, to offset the cost.
Right.
There'll be no,
The only good thing about that is I feel like you get more of a commitment instead of people. And I realize it's only $10 or $20, but
Mhm.
you know, if you sign up and you pay, rather than people saying, oh yeah, and then you get all of this put together and you get coaches there and whatever.
nobody
and then,
shows up.
and then
Yeah.
people don't show up because they're like, I didn't pay nothing, whatever.
Right.
It was pretty warm today. So, we went for a hike.
Go ahead, Jess.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You froze. So, all right, I don't have as a person with kids, I don't have a problem paying as long as they're going to go for 4 weeks.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And that's what I was saying too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then that's fine, but just to go for like a week.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
No.
Stick to the ball, like,
And like I said, basically, it's just enough to cover if we got to buy more balls or whatever for.
That's it. Yep. That's all we really need. We have the nets. There'll be no uniform. So that's a big savings right there for us.
Right.
Because that's a big expense.
Yeah, that's fine.
All
I
right.
just
So
wanted to-
I'll make a motion to have Tara put together a plan for our next recreation meeting of a skills and drills program to safely follow the MIA guidelines, and social distancing guidelines. And then we'll do an inventory in between there. And at that point, we'll decide if we have enough balls to give each child. And then we'll decide on a fee schedule for that.
When's your next meeting? So I have
Um,
a deadline.
We're looking at, let's see, it's the 28th now. How about we say, to give us enough time, you want to do like the 11th or the 18th? That's a Friday.
September.
Yeah.
Either one's fine.
Why don't we do the 18th?
That
That
might
gives
not
her a
leave
lot
us
of time.
enough time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we'd roll right into October 3rd would be the first session.
So we want the 11th probably, right? I don't
Yeah,
think the 18th
that's
will
what
give
I'm
us enough
thinking.
time, yeah.
Or if we can,
Because then you can get people to register
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true,
and
yeah.
get it
yeah.
out there.
Okay,
Okay.
so you want,
that or like is the Monday in between the two of those or something, if we can
Mhm.
do our meeting on a Monday or Tuesday night or whatever.
Monday
Yeah, we
would
can
be cool.
what day?
Mondays.
Okay, how about the 14th?
Oh, because Labor Day. Is that going to still be enough time? Because we were going to go up to the 11th. so
Oh, you're
that
right. Yeah, I'm
way-
sorry. The 7th. I'm sorry. September 7th.
Oh, that's Labor Day. Is anybody doing anything, going anywhere?
It's a stay-home vacation, baby.
All right. Does that work for you? You going to have like any family barbecues, anything like that? No. You want to come hang out? All right. Me and Jared.
All right, so September 7th, we'll have a,
Mhm.
all right, so I'm gonna put the motion out there for September 7th. Tara will have a somewhat of a plan of what she thinks she can do with the assistance of her new helper Heidi. Don't hit me, don't throw anything at me.
We got this, Heidi.
No, she left. She ran out of the room
Oh.
screaming.
Well,
All
I'm
right.
around too a little bit, so if you guys need help.
Okay. All right, so the motion is September 7th, Tara will put together a plan, and then we will discuss it at our meeting, and we will go from there.
All right.
And a second on that motion?
Yes.
Second,
Third.
you made the first one. Can't do the
Oh,
second.
did I? Different personality.
All right, let me just get back to my screen here. Hold on, I'm just getting rid of the MIA thing here. This technology is killing me here. All right, next on the agenda is updates from Parks and Cemetery, where there was no meeting last night, so there's really no updates from Parks and Cemetery. But we will keep you informed on that one, what they come up with. And we scheduled the next meeting for September 7th. That works for everybody, right? So far?
Should be fine.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, I will go around. Does anybody have any comments from the board that they'd like to share? Suggestions, comments, questions?
Joy's gonna get me in trouble.
So I have a couple updates. Like I said earlier, the memorial bench is on its way from Georgia up to Shrewsbury, Mass, where it will be delivered. The memorial bench for Aaron Cotis. And we have a landscape designer that has designed a plan for around the flagpole to place that memorial bench with a small garden. Joy was really, really huge on getting this bench donated. This was a huge undertaking by Joy, and she got it done. She took care of everything for it. So
I was at everything.
it's gonna be a beautiful area to remember Erin. Right beneath the flagpole, and her bench will be overlooking the softball field where she spent a lot of years and a lot of time. So it's gonna be a good tribute to her and her family. That bench will be there forever. So that's coming soon. So we're talking with Graves to get some bricks donated. We've got a landscape design of some plants and so forth, and a couple landscape companies that want to put it all together for us. And the scoreboard has arrived. It's being stored. And I worked with Templeton Light, so they're gonna pretty much set the poles, run the conduit, all that stuff. And then Lyman Signs is looking at installing it. So that should be in the ground within the next month or so.
Nice. Good.
So that scoreboard will go over by the first base side of the main field with the Gilman Wade sign on top of it. So that's coming along. Projects at Gilman, CPC, and Joy can talk on this one too, that, you know, they pre-approved us for monies to improve Gilman Waite. So that's the fencing, the irrigation, the bathrooms, and the concession stand. So that's all on the books for fall town meeting. We're gonna submit the warrant this week or next week with CPC and get that on the roll. So hopefully, you know, we probably won't see, if it gets approved at town meeting, much construction this year because of the cold weather. You really can't do irrigation. Fencing, you could probably get away with doing it before the ground freezes. Irrigation, if they're not too busy, they could probably get some of their groundwork done before it freezes. Construction of the bathrooms and inside, that can be done. It's just, you know, they have to be careful what they do, and especially with plumbing or water or anything like that. They don't want to start plumbing or watering anything before the freeze comes. So, but construction can get done and so forth inside.
I'm thinking we get some kids up there 6 feet apart with squirt bottles and have them walk around and squirt the field.
It's better than what we did.
Be some
That
exercise,
sounds
be
good.
exercise for 'em, but they got to stay 6 feet apart.
Right. They can spray Lysol.
Oh,
Get some irrigation up there one way or another.
Yep. Community service.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, if it were done in the spring as it should have been, it didn't matter whether it's freezing or not, you'd have, those things would be taken care of. They can put it right in till it's freezing or while it's freezing. If you do it right, you can't just keep postponing everything.
No, and it's like I said, I've talked to the
It's been
contractors.
how many years now?
I talked to all the contractors that have bid, and they say they can work until the first freeze, so they can go right up till the end of October. So,
Well, good. Don't give them a reason to waste any more time.
yep. The problem is the meeting is until November 9th, so we're kind of past that freeze window. So,
Yeah, the big problem is the people in this town do not realize what CPC is and how it works and how they've already paid for it. It's not costing the town a penny because
Nope.
we've already paid into it.
right.
And the money comes from the state for everybody that has had new houses and all that. So it's there, it's available, but the townspeople vote things like that down because they think it's going to cost us money.
Right.
So somebody's got to get out there and start explaining it to them.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna.
And shall I suggest somebody?
Yes, not me.
We'll get. That's Jess's new job. She's the PR person for the recreation department. So hopefully, you know.
Okay, what do you need me to do?
Gotta go around big signs explaining the CPC, how it works, why it works.
All right, I go into that job.
Okay, what am I doing? PR work now?
PR work.
Oh, okay. So I have to activate Facebook again. How do you want me to, are you being serious or are you just messing around?
No, we definitely need to.
I'm gonna go with her.
I don't think they know.
We need to figure out, you know, especially at town meeting, you know, we have to represent and explain how like Joy said, it's monies that you've already paid in through your taxes. It's money that's accrued through your taxes and different things from the state, and it doesn't affect anything. It's money that you've already paid. It's spent money and it's never been utilized. So, you know, why not utilize it on a park that everybody uses, and it's going to be there for the future. And it, like Joy said, it's been sitting too long, and you know, we have to finish it and move on because there's other parks in town that need work. Houghton Park and Cottage Lane, you know, those parks are, they're just need work.
That's never been touched.
Where's Bakerfield?
That's down back of the government sewer system.
Oh,
It belongs to, but, he did say something that was wrong. We have utilized a lot of that CPC money for a lot of good reasons. The very first thing they did was putting, when the house burned down on the common, they wanted the special molding to go up to make it look authentic again. And
Yeah.
that was what CPC did, and that was great. So we've done a lot with the CPC for the town, but it's still, we're paying maybe $20 or $30 a year.
Broken.
I think we lost him.
Yep.
So, like I said, that's going to go before. Oh.
Yeah, we need to have more explanations to the townspeople because they're not getting it. They're not understanding what it's all about. It's a great thing. And what others do fabulous things with them. Oklahoma City was the first time I ever heard of it. And they were paying 1% tax. And they put in the most beautiful parks and had a wagon train made out of bronze crossing the river and all that. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And they did it by 1 cent tax on everybody's bills, tax bills.
Her tax went up for that school.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, we're paying enough taxes on the school. We ought to be getting something back. And we will get back if we're using CPC money.
Right, and that's what it's designed for, to beautify our parks and open space and.
Right, everybody's catching on to the greatness of it now. So where our funds are being reduced because more towns are going in, and the big cities are on fast, and they're taking an awful lot of the money. But we still have a very good amount, and but we got to get it through the town meeting, and you got a couple of people that stand up and give all kinds of misinformation, and they have no clue what's going on. And there we've got to either learn how to trip them before they get up front or explain it to them a little better.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a breakdown in communication when it comes to CPC monies and how they're supposed to be used, and you know, it's for affordable housing, open space. There's a lot of different things it's used for, so.
Right.
But, that's what we're gonna do. I mean, the CPC already pre-approved, a certain amount of monies for us, so
That's right.
we'll get there and we got a good list ahead of us and, we'll get Gilman done, which will be good because there's Houghton Park and there's Cottage Lane. There's two parks that they need work too, you know what I mean? So there's things out there that gotta get done, so.
Right, and then when we get those, then you can try back Baker Field.
Right.
That was given to us years and years ago. It's never been touched.
Yep. So there's some opportunities in Templeton for us and, we just have to go after it and keep trying to get things done, but we have a plan, which is good. We have a plan.
Have the state help us.
Yep.
We might go get something from the state.
All right.
Besides slack and problems.
All right.
Okay, are we adjourned?
So
I make a motion.
I second that.
Good, I'm done.
All right. I think Joy's checked out for the evening.
Yeah, just this part of the night. Go.
All right.
At least my husband's in the hospital.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See you on
See ya.
September 7th.
See you guys.
See ya.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Yeah.